While Eddie Brock is a very different guy from Peter Parker, Venom has always been intended to be a darker spin on Spider-Man in terms of power and abilities. As a result, it should come as no surprise that there are a lot of similarities between the two characters. We're going to be talking not only about Venom, but his hosts too, and the 10 things Venom and Spider-Man have in common.
Get on with it!
Let us know what your favorites are, and remember to push that red button to subscribe for more.
Gotta say, that's awesome.
Both names have been used by multiple people. Spider-Man the title has a lot in common with Venom the symbiote in that they've both been taken by many people. While the title of Spider-Man has been held by Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, Miguel O'Hara, Miles Morales, and many more, the Venom symbiote has bonded with Peter Parker, Eddie Brock, Mac Gargan, Flash Thompson, and Lee Price. While the circumstances are slightly different as Venom and its host are not the same character, it's certainly interesting to see how both monikers have been passed down over several different characters throughout comic history. Each person to bond with Venom or to take the mantle of Spider-Man has had a different approach to the identity, with some being more violent than others, or in the case of Flash Thompson, outright able to control Venom. They've both created symbiote monsters. While Peter's no alien, it cannot be denied that he is responsible for the creation of Venom. When he rejected the symbiote to stop it from bonding with him permanently, he sent it into a rage, causing it to bond with Eddie Brock. Now, Eddie Brock and Venom, on the other hand, managed to create Carnage literally, with Venom reproducing and giving birth to Carnage. Both Peter and Venom are responsible for an evil symbiote coming into the world, and both tried to destroy their respective offspring to prevent it from becoming too powerful and dangerous. While neither of them managed to succeed in that goal, it's certainly true that the apple never falls far from the tree, as the symbiotes all have a habit of rejecting their children, as Carnage would later go on to be enemies with its own child, Toxin. Powers and abilities. We figured we'd leave it for a while before we got into the really obvious ones. As you're no doubt aware, Venom has all the powers that Peter Parker does, and even some he doesn't. For example, while Venom can climb walls and lift heavy loads, he can also create organic webbing and avoid detection from Peter's spider sense. He's able to avoid detection because Pete's sense doesn't recognize Venom as a threat, as Venom shares some of Peter's DNA. Meaning that unless Spidey hears, sees, or smells him, Venom is undetectable to him. Venom adapting to be a spider suit at first is also what allowed him to create his own organic webbing. What you might not know, however, is that Ultimate Venom doesn't climb walls via sticking, but instead sticks his claws in the surface he's climbing up, causing a lot of property damage as it goes.
What are the odds?
Both have been part of Avengers teams. While the idea of Venom being an Avenger is a little unusual, it has technically happened, although it's not quite as simple as Venom just being an Avenger like Spider-Man. While Venom isn't a regular Avenger, when bonded with Mac Gargan, Venom was in the Dark Avengers, a team formed by Norman Osborn. Numerous supervillains have served on the team while portraying a member of the original Avengers. As you can guess, Venom portrayed Spider-Man, who we all know is an Avenger, when he was a member of the Dark Avengers. Unfortunately for Mac Gargan, however, the Venom symbiote was captured and taken away from him, meaning he had to return to being the Scorpion after his brief stint with the symbiote. They've both worked at the Daily Bugle. While Venom isn't the sort to hold down a 9-to-5, his first host, Eddie Brock, was a journalist at the Daily Bugle, the same publication that Peter Parker for the longest time sold his photographs to. The pair didn't exactly get on, as Brock was kind of a jerk. After Brock got fired from the Daily Bugle and bonded with Venom, they had a mutual hatred of Spider-Man. Brock loathed Peter for costing him his job. Venom loathed Spider-Man for rejecting him. So when the two of them combined, they harbored just enough resentment to try and make Pete's life a living hell. They've both fought Carnage. One thing that Venom and Spider-Man have in common is a pretty sizable dislike of the villain Carnage. While you'd think that Venom and Carnage would get on like a house on fire, this isn't exactly the case. The two clash a lot, with Venom trying to kill Carnage several times, often coming up short as Carnage is the stronger of the two. Spider-Man has of course tangled with Carnage multiple times. It's his book after all, most notably in the Maximum Carnage saga. While the storyline suffered pretty poor reviews, it definitely succeeded in putting Carnage on the map as one of Spidey's greatest foes. Venom also got a solo storyline with Carnage, appropriately titled Venom vs. Carnage. During this storyline, not only did Venom and Carnage duke it out, but we also got introduced to the third major symbiote, and the strongest of the trio, Toxin. They've both been superheroes. While Venom is most widely known as a supervillain, at current he's actually a good guy. Granted, that's not entirely his choice. After former high school bully Flash Thompson fought in the war in Iraq and lost both his legs, he bonded with Venom. However, unlike previous hosts who would eventually lose their mind to Venom, Flash was actually able to control the symbiote. Flash became Agent Venom and has been fighting on the side of good. Venom himself has been a lot more subdued, appearing more like the black costume that Peter once wore, and less like the drooling, long-tongued monster that most of his other hosts have had to contend with. With Flash, Venom has not only been a member of the Thunderbolts, but has also fought alongside the likes of Scarlet Spider, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and is even a member of the Secret Avengers. Both their creators revolutionized the industry. Stan Lee and Todd McFarlane both changed how the comic industry ran. Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, had a huge hand in creating the Marvel universe as we know it today. Most of the classic Marvel characters were co-created with Stan Lee. Todd McFarlane, creator of Venom, had a similar but different effect. While he created Venom based somewhat off of his prior designs for the character Spawn, his main contribution to the comic industry was bringing power back to the creators. He, along with Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, founded Image Comics, making creator-owned comic books easier to publish. Well, that and his comics sold so well, they started making variant covers for them. With variant covers being a huge collector's item today, it's hard to imagine the comic world without them there being a nuisance. But it was Todd McFarlane who made them more popular. Dr. Octopus has been both of them. Doc Ock has got this thing where he wants to be superior to people. We know this from when he took over the brain of Peter Parker in the Superior Spider-Man arc. During that arc, he decided that the real way to prove he was better than Spider-Man was to be better at being Spider-Man than Peter Parker himself. He founded Parker Industries, he kept up a better romantic life than Peter, and was highly efficient in using teams to fight off criminals. In that time, he also bonded with the Venom symbiote for a very short while. While he attempts to be the superior Venom, he doesn't get much of a chance to. It's not long before the Avengers come in, believing that Venom has possessed Spider-Man. They defeat the superior Venom and return the symbiote back to Flash Thompson, whom Otto had stolen it from. They first meant to be red and black. While Spider-Man is known for his red and blue costume today, originally his costume was supposed to be red and black. Blue was originally used to highlight black in comic art in order to add more depth to the picture. So Spider-Man was supposed to have black parts on his costume with the webbing coming from those black areas, meaning Spider-Man would look more like this. However, it wasn't long until the idea of having his suit be red and blue took off with the webbing remaining black. The symbiote in its first appearance was also supposed to be black with a red spider symbol. However, unlike Spider-Man, its design was changed before it ever actually made it to the comic page. Well, at least Miles Morales got to rock the black and red.
Thanks for the good news.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Be sure to let us know if there's anything you think that we should have included. And as always, subscribe to CBR for more videos.